And we're back, guys. Game number 3 is going to be starting soon. So, Apple King Kings or Infinity, who will take this last game? We're going to have to see. But you talked about concentrating on the lanes here for Apple King Kings. That was the same advice, actually, you, Lelis, gave them during the regional finals. I don't know if you remember in the game against Thunder. They did that and they won, Lelis. Of course, that was all thanks to you. So, what is your advice this time? What do you think they should be doing in this third game, on this third draft?
I think they should just contest this Monkey King hero. I think it's a hero that both of them pick. I think they should either pick it or they should ban it. Because this hero is just way too annoying. And I also think if they're going to pick this Treant hero, maybe pick a ranged carry with it. Because the Treant PA just seems kind of awkward. It didn't really... I don't think they really synergized together that well. Yeah, I think mostly just... I think that their offlaning was fine in both games. It was a hard lane for game 1. I think in game 2 they did fine. They won the lane. They were doing great. I just think this mid matchup can't be like this, where the mid hero just gets crushed. I think the game is just way too hard.
The Triple Enter was supposed to be a signature pick for them, but we talked about that a little bit, but it didn't really look that way last game. He felt really cancelled. Do you think that was kind of because of the hero has to fit one role, and if he doesn't dominate the lane, he feels a bit weak in the mid game, as you mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a different, like a unique situation under Lord. Like, as Leda said, it's not a good combination of heroes, so they went for this 3PA. There's a lot of combination of heroes that, like, of melee heroes together that don't work well. And I think under Lord it's probably the worst case scenario. You have this huge AoE spell. Sure. So I think if you're going for the Treant, you have to, try to get a Deuce Up, Drow, Gyro, whatever range here that you have, and then the tree acts as that wall. He trades really well. He's actually like a good laner, but you need to not be taking a ton of damage from an AoE spell the size of the entire lane.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll see what they try to do this time, because every time the openers have changed for the losing team, so we'll see if Apple Kings changes that as well. Were you a fanboy, by the way, of the Treant as 4th pick, or do you think that was, like, is a support as 4th pick justified sometimes?
Yeah, it's definitely justified, but not in that case, especially when they follow it up with the PA. Obviously, the bans from Infinity were really good. I think they took the Deuce and the Terrorblade out, which were good matchups versus the Tiny, and would also synergize a little bit better versus with the Tree. But yeah, it's okay to 4th pick Tree, but they needed another carry, like maybe Drow. I don't know.
I would have been happy with the Drow. Also, what they start with this time. This time they once again have 1st pick, so they get to use that 4th/8th pick as much as as well as they want, and we'll see what they decide to pivot their draft around here. For Infinity, Lalas, do you think they will start similarly? Do you think the Tiny strategy worked well for them, or the initial Tiny pick and potential flex idea?
I think it's an okay opener. Like, they banned this Quap hero and Invoker first phase, so I feel like they're leaning towards Monkey King again.
Okay.
Because last time it didn't do this, right? What do I remember what they banned last game? I can check.
In the second
I think Invoker
the
was
first phase,
still,
right? Yeah, Invoker for sure. But banning Quap first phase like this just seems kind of weird to me. It's only if they're actually like prepping for a specific pick. So Apu go for Treant again. They banned the SD this time because they at least they think the SD is probably good against the carries that they want to pick with Tree, maybe. So the SD is good against Medusa, good against Luna. So maybe they didn't want to pick one of these heroes. Medusa was banned, right? But maybe they didn't want to pick Luna because they had SD. It's a possibility. It is a good hero against it. So they also thought it was a problem, maybe for the trees laning. So they remove it this time. I like it. They actually thought about it. Let's see. There's a Monkey King.
There you go, Lewis.
Yeah.
Well with the Bane this time, though.
Yeah, I like the Bane. It's just a strong laner. They can either lane it in the off lane or the safe lane. I think it's fine. It will do fine against Tree.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is a really powerful opener because the Monkey King can flex, pretty much every role but 5. And even if it's a carry Monkey King, this lane's already good by itself. You have this like range hero that trades really well, and the Monkey King will happily be able to get kills after the Bane trades. It's really good. I'm surprised that they let this Monkey King through.
Yeah. We've been saying this is kind of been the narrative of the whole best of 3. It's like, why are they not concentrating on the Monkey King, especially being mini signature hero? So it is surprising. Do you think they might be trying to expand themselves, Bowie, or like what's happening here? What do you think they might be thinking?
I mean, they feel like they can counter it. This time, it is a much earlier Monkey King, you know, it's before they pick Void Spirit and get Thrashing Lane, so it is, I think they would have banned it if it went to second phase.
Okay.
And, you know, it's a risk Infinity is taking, but they have played Monkey King 4, I think, you know, as long as you have the flex in your team, you just play it as a 4, and it's a decent hero. I don't think you're scared of 3 at all.
For the Sand King pick here, is that lane not still Monkey King favored, or does the Sand King threaten him in other ways, Lilith?
It's pretty Monkey King favored. Like Monkey should he should win most lanes against Sand King. Hero's just way too weak early. But I feel like Infinity doesn't want to play this Monkey King carry. I think this guy just wants to play mid. I rarely see Rises ever play this hero, and they're just banning mid heroes, right? They're gonna ban 2 more mid heroes. I would like Apu to pick Batrider. I'm not sure why they just didn't pick Batrider right now, but I think that matchup it's gonna get banned. There's no way.
I think I know the answer why they didn't ban Batrider. They pick Batrider. I think they're scared of the hero pool of doing out. I feel like if you get Batrider, they just ban Mars and King, and they might be in a rough position with the heroes he's comfortable with.
10 seconds.
Yeah,
they are first phasing his heroes more often, right? I think the only time they didn't first phase doing Young's hero was in game 1 with Legion, where overall they feel kind of pressure into doing so.
Yeah, I think the Sand King hero, he's a fine hero. I think he's just very strong. They banned a lot of the counters already. Like Anti-Mage is probably the best. Dusa also just free farms against them, so they got rid of those. But most carriers just do fine against that. That's what worries me a little bit, because they're gonna ban 5 heroes that lane against Monkey King mid, right? And then what are you going to pick? You can pick Razor mid, right? Which is fine. I'm not sure. I guess Mini does play Razor. There are still options, but they're gonna be very limited.
Yeah.
And this year just kind of solo won last game, right?
Yeah.
So
which is why you think they're trying to give it to Pippi as well, right? It's a bit of a comfort as well. They're coming hot from the last game.
For sure. Like he probably just like, oh, just give me Monkey again, I'll just crush this guy, or he's probably very confident in the hero.
Tusk for Infinity. This usually would be a 4, but with Papita in the pool, who knows? Because he was the guy who brought Tusk 3 into the SA scene.
I like the Storm. This is really good versus Monkey King. I think both the lane and in the mid game. This is
so
nice.
Hoodwink.
Yep. This is a
give me more,
much
Bowie.
better.
Explain yourself. Why do you like the Storm so much against Monkey King? Explain it. Not everyone is 8K like you are.
It's the flying vision of the Remnant. It's the fact that you can break trees when you use Zap. So
nice.
It's pretty easy to not only find a Monkey King, but sometimes you can even break the tree, and then he's dead. Like even if he's BKB, he's gonna be stunned for 4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
As
BKB
Lenny
prevents
said,
the stun. By the way,
I'm sorry.
BKB prevents the stun. By the way,
I don't think it does.
Well, we tested it in a lobby a while back.
What stun?
Yeah,
Monkey King stun?
Yeah. If you BKB before you fall off the tree, you don't get stunned.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but regardless, it's a good hero versus Monkey King, and they spend a lot of bans trying to counter this lane, so they might just be forced to play Monkey King. They can though. They have this Tusk, unless Tusk is off lane, and the Tusk Monkey King off lane duo doesn't seem that good if they just pick a range carry for Apu Kings.
But is the lane that bad? Like, I mean, obviously Storm beats him in the mid game, but is the lane that bad? Can Monkey King come up on top in this lane?
No, the lane is not awful, but I feel like the whole game it's just really easy for you to hunt this Monkey King. And I think this hero in the mid lane kind of relies a little bit on snowballing, because if you don't, then you have to farm items, and like you're farming as a mid hero. It doesn't feel really good.
Bowie, have you seen the way the Mini used to build the Monkey King when he played like in a countered game, where it was like he would go Ranavetos into Gleipnir, BKB, and then would build like utility items. Like I even saw him build Shivas once. He built Refresher as well. Like this kind of just team fighting tank Monkey King. Would that work against a Storm? Because you don't need per se as much farm, or you don't do snowball as much.
It's probably one of the best times to try that. I think, especially you know. If you come from the trees, then it's going to be hard. Like usually, I don't think Storm cares that much about Atos because he can dodge the projectile. But if he comes from fog, then he can be really good. And they have the heroes to follow up, especially if this Tusk. It could be a way if they do play mid.
Of course, I will never say no to a Tusk offlane by Papita. That's always very exciting to see. When that hero became popular it was because of Necros, or if you guys remember, the tag team in Necros was disgusting. But Papita played it before that, and then someone told him, hey dude, you can buy Necros in this hero. He was like, oh my god, he's actually a good offlaner, but he was trying it out before with Vlad's build, actually, Solar Crest into Vlad's he used to build. It was not very successful, but it was fun to watch.
They banned Underlord this time. That's so funny.
Apu's last pick. Oh, well, there we go. It's going to be immediately a Morphling. That's the hero that you were suggesting, Lelis, against the Tiny. Another good matchup against him.
Yeah, last game, Tiny, he had no issues. So at least this game, they at least have something that is a little better against Tiny. I think this PA matchup for Tiny is... He doesn't really care. It was a free game. This game is also just free. But now they actually pick a carry that can actually outscale Tiny. Which is good. They needed this game. I was going to talk about it. Like, the Sand King matchup is very bad for Sand King. He just gets one shot all game. Storm also just very low damage hero. Doesn't really kill Tiny. And Hoodwink is just very squishy against Tiny. Doesn't really... Like, she can kite him around, but it's not that good of a matchup. At least they actually have a carry that can scale, and they don't feel like the Tiny is just out farming, and he's getting too many items, and it's not going to be able to be dealt with. So, I already like it a little bit more for Apu.
How do you think Infinity punishes this? Do they have an off layer that can really give it to the Morphling?
This Tusk pick is just making it a little bit awkward, I feel like. Because I feel like they want a range hero to lane against Morphling with Tusk.
Only Snap is left, right? That I know.
I think I would like a mid-Tiny here just because you can go Blink and play off of the burst damage versus Morphling. The Monkey King lane versus Sand King is good, and if they can get the range offlaner you guys are talking about, I think that would be really good for Infinity.
Okay.
But they did ban the Venomancer. Maybe something like is Snapfire open?
Cheers.
Because offlane Snapfire is good with Tusk, right? It's a range hero.
Yeah, Little Shredder does not proc tag team, but it does proc the slow, but not the damage. But, you know, still decent at that.
They might have problems like taking the early axe.
Oh. I was not expecting that. What is your take on this hero currently, Lelis? I know not everyone is a big fan of the axe right now.
I mean, I think this hero is very like, dumpster tier, honestly.
Yeah,
I think he's also just not good with the heroes they have. Like, he needs damage from his teammates.
Yep.
And I don't really think he has this game. I think the idea that this axe is that he's just going to cut the wave and they're not going to play the lane. So they don't have to play this Treant Morphling lane, right? And Tusk can be able to roam. I think that's the idea behind it. Because I don't really see like why pick axe. They don't really have any damage. He doesn't really have any team fight combo or anything. Sure, he has Monkey King ult, but that's way too far into the game. Axe is also good against Morphling because he doesn't really care about Lincolns, right? He can call him through Lincolns and he can remove Lincolns with W. So in the game, it's a good matchup, but I'm not really a fan of the hero.
Okay. Bowie, what are your opinions on the drafts?
I like what Lettuce said. At the end of the day, they don't have the heroes to really punish this axe cutting the wave that much. Like Turn Protector, he can Leech Seed. It's not that much damage. Morphling super slow. Doesn't really want to walk up to that because he's going to miss creeps as he cuts the wave. It makes sense. And I think if... the only thing I don't like is that I would prefer the Tiny mid. I feel like if you can get Blink on both Tiny and Axe, you can kill this Morphling over and over again. There's no really saves on the side of Up Kings. But Monkey King works kind of similarly. It's just, you know, whether he's going to do well versus Storm. He should do fine. This is probably the closest draft they had so far. And I'm excited. I think there's not going to be a stomp, so the viewers are going to be happy.
All right, we're going to see what our cats have to say about this matchup, because even though Papita loves diversity, picks a different offlane in every game, we pick the best casters just for you, right from the caster orchard, to deliver the wonderful cast that you deserve for Epulze Kings versus Infinity Esports game number 3. And their names are SeekNStrike and Lacoste.
Yes, thank you, Avo. Unfortunately, they couldn't find the best caster, so they had to reach into the value bin, and they got us Lacoste. Good to see you once again for game number 3. Gotta laugh out of him. We're business boys. But what are you thinking about this draft here? I think much like Lelis is saying and Bowie, hopefully we've got a much closer game number 3. Right? We've had some pretty one-sided games today.
Yeah, it was like done after the first one was done after the draft ended. The second one, 15 minutes in, you could feel where the game's gonna go in which direction. This time around, I want to see how Axe is gonna do in the lane. Not a big fan hero at the moment. I feel like the hero doesn't have too much to offer. I've seen like different builds on the hero from like I've seen Seb and some like was watching some other high tier pub players go that they like don't go for Blink Dagger Vanguard type of a build. They've been going for Spirit Vessel, Phase Boots, and then into a Blink Dagger. I see what he's gonna go for this time around. I think the whole idea of Axe is the just creep skip, as Panel was talking about. Not sure if they want to play into the lane, because this is, a bit annoying. Serum once again will start top with the Boots of Speed. They want to get the first blood on Tiny.
And this time with a stun on the Sand King already leveled, they do have a little bit more kill threat. Tiny has already committed as well into the tree throw. Only Shahsid not taking any points quite yet. But it's only a Bane. Against one support hero, he does okay, but against two, he might actually struggle. They're going to know that Benny's alone again down bottom because no one's supporting him here through the first tag team. So Rises and Shahsid both playing very patiently here through this first wave.
Oh, that
Bushwhack is going to whiff.
That's enough. Cancel. Go back to your lanes.
Benny so far in these first levels not doing too poorly. High base damage on the Morphling, which means Battle Hunger, which now only slows you when you're facing away from Axe. Doesn't really bother him much. Let's see if he can get this first creep. He does. Too hard. Even a waveforms into it. That's how confident he is in the lane. As the Bushwhack the second time will land, but Hannah takes a bit more damage than he deals. Really,
I was watching top lane, stun into Bushwhack. Treant was not close. The execution-wise, not on point. Benny getting some free levels on the bottom lane, and he's on top of the network. So this trade that they're getting is actually okay. Tiny's sitting at 3 CS right now, but yeah, Serum will need the TP down bottom.
Okay, they're continuing to harass him. They've pulled the wave to the tier 1, so Rice is forced to TS under tower. Not really a challenge for 72, 76 plus 20 and a Quelling Blade bonus damage hero, but they're still harassing him under tower. There he goes. He didn't miss a single one.
What a surprise, huh? Tiny can last hit underneath the tower.
Yeah, if this was like a Dusa, I definitely see the strategy of doing this, but Rise is not going to struggle. And this Bane, even though he wasn't able to prevent the creep pull, is not going to get this camp to block spawn either. In fact, I believe he's blocked it. Bushwhack again onto Rises. He's just simply too tanky. What's the idea here? Is it just that Benny simply is too strong in his bottom lane, doesn't need support, or are they really trying to shut down Rises?
I'm not sure about that. Tusk needs to get on top of him and hit him every single time. Tag team, trade. He has a healing salve. Benny has no regen left. He's bringing some extra healing salve and boots of speed. Or maybe Treant Protector. He wants to be level 3 11 minutes in once again, so that's why they're sharing experience on the top.
I was going to say, Serum has finally had enough of only having the level 1. Benny was probably asking him, where's my my living armor? And Serum says, what do you mean I'm still level 1? So he's going to trigger a TP, as PP will collect himself now. The first Jingu Master, at least I've seen in this mid lane. Benny up to level 4, 1-1-2 build, so he does a fair amount of damage if PP ever gets too close without having the threat of Jingu.
PP doing a good job. Once again on the mid lane, playing in a bit tougher matchup this time around. It's not a melee hero, it's a Storm Spirit, can't be pulled underneath the tower. The Storm does have a burst damage, like you try to overextend, he gets both spells, even like a third Remnant, so it's a ton of damage. I think they overextended top in terms of how long they stayed there. Morphling was at top of the CS at one point, and that's when they needed the TP. They needed to give him a little bit of extra. They didn't achieve anything top instead of stealing maybe a couple of CS from Tiny, but I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, perhaps Benny just hoping to have level 3, right? This Morphling hero does feel quite weak in the early stages with how much they've really nerfed the attribute shift. Over the past couple of years. And even generally, Avo and I have seen a couple of Morphling games into the Tiny, because it's, in theory, a good matchup for the Morphling there, good core-to-core. This wasn't in qualifiers, so the range of skill is quite large. But even then, this Morphling wasn't really as strong. Actually, even Charlie from Goon Squad was playing it, right? Aqua. And it didn't look that good. The hero's not as fast as it used to be with the E-Blade changes. I was just wondering, where are you at with this Morphling hero in the current meta?
It's a very
Snowball
situational
mid.
lane.
Yeah, they get the kill there.
I think it can work against Tiny. It can also be like a double-edged sword where he gets bursted down by Tiny if he is farming on low HP. So it can be difficult. If there's not enough stuns, I think Morphling is a good pick always if you're playing into Gyro. Can work is a Scotty buyer. I don't think this game you're gonna prioritize E-Blade that much after the changes. So probably gonna be like Manta style into Scotty. I think he needs to be able to survive, having like Satanic eventually. We're talking about, you know, third, fourth type of item, so he can stand his ground and take a fight, especially during the call, get some lifesteal off. That's gonna help a lot.
Rotated over. Nature's Grasp does slow PP, but again, PP with that reach, still finding Serum. Nice slow there on the electric, on the Overlord proc, rather. Is going to at least allow Serum to live. And that's an important stop there. I think if PP continues to kind of extend his lead that he's growing, especially because he was feeling himself from game 1, or game 2, pardon me, on the same hero, I think Apu Kings would have been in for a really rough early game yet again.
I agree. Morphling doesn't come online. Fast Storm, he's good at picking off the targets. They need to enable Sanking. Sanking does struggle a little bit against the Tiny, because Tiny can easily farm underneath the tower. He can burst him at any single point of the game. Mid lane, Mini.
Yeah, Nightmare save here. Shazid's even get off a Brain Sap. He's quite tanky, and he's got infused range ups. Not going to save him, though. Hannes is with the kill, but it's really Mini in trouble, who zips and zaps himself dry. No more mana there. Pamplona takes the kill.
And they get a
from
courier.
Apu Kings. Yeah, get the courier and the bounty. But it's still pretty slim pickings for them. They're going to continue to rotate top lane, where they might be able to set up on the Tiny, if maybe just to force him to jungle.
Mariano on the bottom lane continues to farm up, farming the small camps and the lane creeps. Has full Vanguard, doesn't care too much about Morphling. Has a Observer Ward to work with, so it sees rotations coming out from either outpost TPs or if they like move around the map there. Their damage output is not the greatest, because like Morphling doesn't provide you with much, Treant is non-existent, Hoodwink needs levels, so they need to bring like Storm Spirit plus Sanking, maybe even Hoodwink to be able to bring down Axe, so he's gonna have a relatively free time in the next 5 minutes.
Here's that damage, or lack of, that you speak about. In fact, they're looking to turn on a Mini. There's going to be Bound the Strike, full HP, Mini dead, and it looks like Serum is going to be dead to boot as well, thanks to the slow, and of course that bonus damage from the tag team. 3 earn charges from Pamplona, and this is also the wagon, which has been hitting the tower the whole time.
Yeah, this is tower, having Orb of Corrosion. PP very close to dying, but manages to get a 2-man Boundless Strike, 2 points in Jingu. Yeah, Treant Protector gets the deny, but at what cost?
Cost of potentially your Storm's game. I mean, too many times we've seen Storm Spirits just not... he can be a non-starter of a hero, right? Much like the old Shadow Fiend, where if you die twice in lane, your game is just over. This Storm, he feels like he's kind of one of the more precarious heroes right now in the meta, with how poorly I've seen his games go. It just doesn't feel like the Kaya and Sanj build, which a lot of mid laners used to fall back on to still be able to do things in the game, just doesn't do much on this guy.
At this point, he can only dream about Kaya, and Sanj has Gloves of Haste in his inventory. I didn't see Storm Spirit going for Power Treads early on, especially after the recent changes. Maybe before, I would say when the old Orchid was a thing and you wanted to keep like the momentum going. It's much better to buy like second null, even a third null, than go for Power Treads, I would say.
Speaking of expensive items, Mariano, he's thinking about that Blink Dagger. He's got a lot of money in the bank for it already. I believe he's going to be the richest hero in the game, in fact, basically how much free farm he has gotten, and yes, indeed, that is the case. PP, though, giving good chase and almost finding a kill as this tree is cut. It's a long stun here onto him. No Nature's Grasp. They are continuing to lock him down, and joining as well is going to at least be Benny. Gets off the Jingu and tries to fight through it, but surrounded by 4. Mini at least will be able to get a little something there onto PP. It's going to be even a little bit more, a 3-time kill streak, so decent amount of money for Mini.
Yeah, good kill. Who got the last hit? It was Mini. Okay,
Mini.
so
yeah.
the best
Buys
one.
another null talisman with it, and maybe even is going to get a +1. Bushwhack is good. Pamplona with a little stick. not going to be able to do much about that. And that's now a second kill for Mini. He's triggered, but Infinity can't do much about him right now.
Apo King of Kings playing around Mini, which I like. They need to make some kind of comeback. He bought a second Null Talisman. Problem is this Axe. He's gigantic. He's about to finish off his Blink Dagger, and then he can roam around the map and get some kills, play with the Aether Monkey King. Even Tusk deals a ton of damage, has Urn of Shadows already finished. And that's going to be a Blink plus a Dust. They want to kill Sanking, what it seems like, or he's just preparing for... I think killing Sanking at this point might be better than killing other cores, because they want to kill Sanking and delay his Blink Dagger. Rises has vision of Sanking, but they need extra heroes.
The smoke is bottom. Mariano and Pamplona here, conserving the TP, at least Mariano is, as Pamplona did TP down here. They're going to be able to bypass this Observer Ward. With the mid tower already down, they're going to have to continue making this run a long run. It is all the way up to the top lane, where Apu Kings, currently bolstered by that 10-minute wagon, are looking to siege. Anasis, Serum, both in a decent position to break smokes, both the tree lovers. As the scan even used by Dire is going to give Mariano the confidence to continue, but the smoke is now ending. Not really found a great jump. Broken by the Hill Trolls. He's not going to want to jump the Sand King.
Funny.
Now the smoke's going the other way.
Dun, 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 dun. They're gonna miss any kind of action. Both want to take a fight, but yeah, just because they use the smoke, they will not find anything. Rises TPs to the bottom. They probably know that Axe has a Blink Dagger, considering that he has been free farming all the time. And they are Sanking.
Dunhai farming. Axe makes the jump into the Sandstorm with a couple of Ancients around him. The Dust applied, 25 damage, but the Fiend's Grip doing more. BP thinking about stealing it, but Mariano wants his scale, and he wants his first armor stack, and he's going to get it and even steal the stack of the Sand King on top. This is a nice rotation. This is big. From Infinity.
I'm not sure why Sand King decided to farm the Ancient stack first. I've also seen Sand King's farm the Ancient stacks with the Epicenter in a couple of games. Was a bit surprised by it, but it's all about getting that money for the Blink Dagger, especially if you're not off to a good start.
Oh, okay, Mini. Yeah, he sensed something in the trees there. His monkey senses were tingling, his PP senses were tingling, and he gets it right out of that one. Wukong's command is going to end, and it's going to be PP left without a kill, but a DD rune. So they might just go right back on. Ian, see what he can find. Now it's Serum, who dies bottom. Rises and Shahsid easily pick up the kill there.
Sanking does have a Blink Dagger coming to him. There is also a Sharpshooter, so they can burst pretty much anyone. I would say Axe might be a bit difficult, but the rest, they can kill it. I like PP's build this time around, not going for Echo Saber, going for Orchid. Orchid is, after the changes, it's not an intelligence items anymore. It feels more of like second, third item for certain carries. CKs definitely love to pick it up, and yeah, whenever you play against those like Morphling, Storm Spirit, anything elusive, that silence really works amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been crying about Bloodthorn for who knows how long, right? As it was kind of always an item we rarely saw, but now with the changes to the Orchid, it does feel a lot more viable. Those Mage Slayer, so. But yeah, Orchid in general, gonna be nice. For these like tempo mid laners, I do like the fact that they are kind of diversifying these items a little bit more. You know, not too many heroes were super eager to buy Diffusal. It was like the archetype of a fast, safe laner before. Now you see it on like a Pangolier, for example, which would have been a little bit strange to see before the patch. So really cool to see the items be much more flexible. I definitely think that's like where Dota excels as
yeah, I love some of the changes. Definitely we need to buff up the brooch. That item is just horrible. horrible build up. Too costly. The recipe plus a Mystic Staff also doesn't do that much in terms of damage anyway. Like it deals 0 damage through the BKB. So
like Wind Waker as well, right?
Quite yeah, Wind Waker's very good. One of my favorite, if not the favorite item in the game, but very hard to farm. Like cores don't want to buy it. Like you can say people inside the black hole chronosphere type of a thing. It's super late game item. Yeah.
4v5 fight. PP, his smoke will break. Vision is going to be set up here by Apu Kings as Infinity. They're about to lose their own smoke. It will time out. Didn't see. I'm not sure if actually they saw Mariano. They'll see him now. As well with his own blink. We'll make the jump there. Hold it onto the epicenter. There's going to be the jump in. The snowball save those. Pretty good. Walrus punch now. And into the axe call. Proceed. Hold it onto the Fiend's grip. He's conserving that for now as Mini makes the jump in. He needs to stay. He needs to keep his distance from PP, who has the Orchid. They do get off the epicenter, but Rises can easily tank through this one. As PP still looking to find the right engagement. Benny as well is fighting. Only has Dragonlance as well as the Morbid Mask. Silenced up. Not on full HP as well for the strength gain and dunked down by Mariano with the blink. It's Apu Kings who get this one all wrong.
I don't think they should be fighting 5 versus 5. Smoke into some kind of a pickoff, Sanking plus Storm Spirit, a ton of damage. Goodwin can also play with them and just get this Morphling online. Morphling was thinking about getting his second item. Probably, you know, SNY sounds great. You're playing into stuns. Whenever you're playing into Axe, like this was Juggernaut's build a long time ago, having status resistance against the call is going to work amazing. And now PP revealed his Orchid, so that means that you need a Manta style, like you need to be able to take care of yourself because there's no one there to save you, so switches to Manta style. How are we?
It's a rough world out there. You got to be able to take care of yourself. Yeah. Monkey's carrying Orchids. Axes with blinks, even though. And now Blade Mal, which, you know, if there's a hero I like the item against a lot, it's both Storm and Morphling. As with the DD rune active, speaking of the Storm, they're going to absolutely murder him. Bushwhack at least prevents Mariano from picking up his third stack here of the Culling Blade bonus armor. But the kill onto the Storm is still extremely consequential.
There's also a chipped West that Tiny has been holding since the start. I guess he just wanted to have a bit of an extra region since the laning stage. It's a great item on Axe, especially with the Blade Mail. You can go for the solo pickoffs.
That bonus damage you do in return rises. Oh, Mariano's going to blink in, finds the call, and there's his third stack of the permanent armor. In fact, it's a bit more because it's level 2, so he's got a total of 4.
It adds up. Yeah,
that does, especially versus a morph, right? High physical damage, allowing you to tank a little bit more. Not like, of course, the 30 bonus armor you get from Berserker's Call is meaningless, but hey, more armor's never a bad thing. Especially because you don't really have like a great AC or a Deso builder, or I guess Medallion. One of the supports could pick up pretty easily, but Morphling doesn't really build any ways to buff his physical damage too much.
Pretty much. One thing that is different now on Axe is his Culling Blade is like pure damage, and it's also amplified by magic damage. So having Fairy's Trinket, like the threshold becomes higher. So instead of 450, it's now 472.
Makes a bit of a difference there. At max level, currently 367 is what he's playing with. Level 2 Culling Blade.
Yes.
There's PP, puts up the Wukong's command. Serum, though, does a good job there with the ulti to keep him at bay, as Mini will be able to walk off the Orchid Burn. The call, though, because Mini goes back in. Benny, he's going to go ahead and transform into the Monkey King. They break him now with the Sharpshooter. Still quite tanky, but not tanky enough, as he will be taken down. Benny now finally joining these fights with a bit more damage, picks up 2 kills. And it's going to be quite a big one there, once again onto PP, but they do still end up losing the Storm.
I get the same feeling when they're playing against Infinity. A bit of a missed timing. Rises was about to be fight ready, has his Shadow Blade, Echo Saber, has a shard coming to him. This is when Tiny wants to join the fights, and they do go for tier 2 tower. They don't even kill him because there's no Tiny. Trin Protector doesn't even have a point in living armor. I guess he's like, well, we're playing against Tiny, I'm not gonna even get it.
Yeah, what's the point, right? If you get so much bonus damage anyway. Tiny just kills us. I mean, it's going to be a bit rough. Still without a Vessel, though. So Pamplona, even though he had a pretty decent early game, he's involved in 10 of 11 kills with his 1, 2, and 9 score. Still doesn't have the Vessel online, which is almost going to be a mandatory item, really, to kill Benny, who has switched it up, and I think he's just going to go BKB instead. So probably going to see him just go for the recipe, because you can disassemble this Dragon Lance for its Ogre Axe.
Yeah, it's gonna come online faster and gives you like more survivability in the fights. Mini, I'm not keeping the camera on him because I'm like, okay, he just died. There's no way he's gonna die again. He's having a really rough game. 2-6 and 2 right now, level 13. Like some supports could be level 13 at this point, considering like if the games are going well for them or not. But yeah,
Green Protector is not going to be one of those supports, as Rises will toss him up, uproot him, and kill him.
Axe
And
ready
even
to
mid
jump
lane.
in.
Yeah,
if he
was
finds
thinking
anyone.
about it. He's thinking about it. Said he'll pull the creep wave out. Shahid is going to turn with the Fiend's Grip. PP is here as well. They're going to at least nuke the door, but the silence is on through without the attribute gain here. Morphling is a bit vulnerable. However, the stun from Sanking will save them. In fact, they're looking to turn. They force the stun at the very least, but PP dodges a lot of that electric, the ball remnant damage. TP, Snowball is going to at least get him a bit closer to Mini, but there's another TP incoming there. It's the Dream Protector Serum, who does have the ulti, but is not going to be allowed to use it. Doesn't really matter, but the call
Let's see the dunk.
from Mariano is huge. Dunk one, dunk two. Looking for a third now on to Mini, who's completely out of mana. Use whatever he has left, but it's going to be 3 dunks for Mariano, and 3 tips and 3 cheers for him as he completely salvages that fight for Infinity.
Oh yeah, he got 3 kills and 3 tips, so yeah, it makes a lot of sense. He's level 17 right now. Oh my god, a bit too late to save PP's Monkey King, but yeah, they got the full team wipe off, and the Storm died again. Most importantly, Rises didn't die, not just this time around, he didn't die a single time this game. So once they get the BKBs, like their damage output is almost non-existent unless they get a great jump, unless they like pull them with the Bushwhack on top of the Burrow Strike Epi combo. There's going to be a Snowball save as well, potentially. It's not so easy to execute because he's not going for the Blink Dagger Rush. He's going for the Vessel, but still feels, you know, very tough to kill heroes on Infinity at the moment. And yeah, we see PP, he can't disassemble Echo Saber this time around to get a faster BKB because he went for Orchid, but we'll have it. Still decent timing, and the Axe, I believe that's his full BKB. Yeah, that's a full BKB running to him.
Little triple kill for him on top of, what, a bonus 6 armor. He's up to a total of 14 with 7 Culling Blade stacks, 7-0 and 3, having a fantastic game to say the least on this Axe. Really, really exciting stuff out from Mariano this time. Who, I mean, it's only been an uphill ride for him, right? Game 1, of course, playing the Chen, couldn't dream of having this amount of impact.
I'm not sure if he's the one who asked for Chen in that game. I'm wondering, you know, if they're like, okay, you're playing Chen, and the second and third game, you're like, give me something that I can play Dota with. He did a very nice move with the Underlord in the second game with Pit of Malice forcing a BKB of Pit of Malice, Fiend's Gate, where he forced the BKB out of Phantom Assassin, and they went for the final push.
Yeah, the call this time's a little bit slow. Not gonna matter though, they still force a little bit more mana out of Mini, who now has the Kaya and Sanj. So the call is gonna be reduced here by 20%. Smoke in the enemy triangle, they just don't care. There's no words here anyway. They're gonna use it to get back on their own high ground. Smoke is going to break and Serum in the way. Mariano with a blink, not going to do so blind, but won't do so for 3 more seconds, and that's going to leave PP high and dries to cut down his tree. The Nightmare save is good into the Fiend's Grip and the Walrus Punch. Benny did not get off the strength gain whatsoever, but the Fiend's Grip not going to last long enough. He is going to be able to waveform away, as at least it's Mini who all lightnings in for a quick kill onto the Bane.
They're still not done.
Well, they're not, actually. They still want more. Morphling without BKB is a bit more vulnerable. BP continues to give chase. Rises as well. Wants to get into the fight, but he just doesn't really have the mobility that a mid laner does. This is something that Bowie was recommending, right? Maybe you go mid laner on this Tiny so he can actually play a little bit more to the weakness of the Morphling with a faster blink. The Shadowblade, he is struggling to reach these fights in time. I mean, PP isn't, though. He's got incredible reach right now.
Yeah, people were going for other 15 talent, the Jingu Mastery. Storm's out of mana.
Yeah, and he, I mean, doesn't have mana for TP. Even if he had one, he's simply dead. I mean, a great read by Infinity to recognize we just want to fight top lane, so Storm's going to want to push bottom out, and they immediately punish him for that.
Yeah, I wanted to say a point about Jingu Mastery, 130 on level 15. That sounds juicy, but 3 Dan's cast range is just too good. It's too powerful. The way you can close the gap, move around the map, jump between the camps, it amplifies your farming and kill potential so much more.
Oh, Rises, forced to TP. He's actually going to fight this Morphling, who is forced to BKB as well. PP has jumped in, but doesn't really like fighting a BKB Morph, but Mariano does. He wants a piece of that pie, and will he get another dunk? He does! In fact, he's going to make it too. Oh no, Dunai trying to bail out of this fight as well. Is going to be caught. That's his own Yule Scepter into the Blink, but Orchided, of course, does no damage, so doesn't cancel the Blink. He's going to make it out alive to tell the tale. How big this Mariano axe is getting. Oh my goodness, Mariano is just having a masterclass on the axe this game.
Yeah, he's having a good time. Well, maybe Axe, after all, is a decent hero if he's having a free lane. Same thing happened in game number 2 when he was playing Underlord. So, I mean, he was not contested at all. Tiny's gonna be picking it up because he's the one to siege it. Triple TP bottom. Wow. Look at this.
Yeah, very clean.
Power
Rainbow
Rangers.
TPs, and they let the Being TP in first, right? So he's going to be able to set up for a Fiend's Grip because Mini makes the jump. It's a good stunt tonight. He can't see the Bane. The Yule Scepter's finally through, but Mini already dead. Dunhai is going to be quickly to follow. The break from the Sharpshooter, not nearly enough for PP. Oh, and it's starting to fall apart because Rises as well. He's found Benny a second time with Aegis and, well, with BKBs on both. Benny, of course, is going to be a bit too tanky for Rises to kill him. Rises as well doesn't really care for the physical damage that Benny is pumping out at this stage. They lose the wagon, but Rises doesn't care.
He's going for Shard, second time in a row in a losing game. I think that's a decent Shard when you're like ahead, but if you're playing from behind, it's just a no-go.
I mean, I do see the strength of it versus a Monkey King, especially because you can just sit in the trees and Monkey will jump over you and you don't feed. It kind of makes it a little bit more difficult for Monkey to just easily kill you. But yeah, it is quite a greedy item, right, on the Treant Protector. For that amount of money, you can easily get a medallion and a bunch of wards.
He is trying to creep skip as much as he can, but you know, these carry players, they can also buy a dust. It happens from time to time in the pubs.
It does.
Happens more
it's
often
been reported,
in the professional games, yeah.
I saw a couple of news articles about when
a couple of isolated incidents of carry buying a dust.
It's starting to get concerning, you know. We need to make sure the supports keep their jobs. Oh, there's a dust from Pamplona, of course, PP. He doesn't have a slot for one. He needs the wand. He needs the Orb of Corrosion. He gets the kill anyway. Axe Call was hopeful. Didn't find anything. No shame in it, though. Mariano going fishing.
So right now, with level 20 talent, the threshold is 600. With the Spell Amp from Fairy's Trinket, it's 630.
What is Morphling sitting at right now? Okay, 2100.
Well, I looked. He was at 2000, so I thought, you know, maybe he can one-shot Morphling. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, that's what I was looking forward to. Not a lot of strength on the Morphling. I guess with Power Treads and the Dragonlance, he could go for it. But that would have been something for sure. Mariano, he might just need a couple spins, though. That's all he needs. Mini. The mini zip. They did see him, and in fact, they do see him. Mariano only pulls one of the creeps there of the wave. Wants to try and get Mini to feel a little bit more comfortable underneath the trees, but now Pamplona giving chase. Mariano ready to go for the blink to follow up as they get the vision with the shards. Mariano, though, not going to be able to find Mini. Even Ball Lightning level 2 is going to be good enough for him to get out of that one. He really wants this Orchid.
Needs 1,000 gold to finish it off. It's going to help, but there are like 3 potential saves on side of Infinity. The Snowball save, you have a Nightmare save that we've seen, and potentially a Tossback can also save people in certain situations.
He's going to be the target, just straight into the Fiend's Grip. They're not messing around. Serum's going to have to cancel it. Rises BKBs immediately. Benny will follow suit now as they focus down onto the Bane. He's still alive, actually. A little bit of a Nightmare save. That's going to buy Rises enough time for the BKB duration to nuke through Serum. So it's a 1-for-1, but Mariano joining the fight without BKBs available. Mini and Benny still looking to fight. They both have wards on the cliff here as Mariano's going to cancel the Sand King here. The call is good. PP to jump in as well. They're canceling Mariano, but they've left PP all alone, and now Benny's trapped inside the Wukong's command. Is easy pickings. All 3 cores dead for Apu Kings. None of them with buyback Lacoste, as that's Infinity winning what feels like their 4th or 5th fight in a row.
Pretty much. They just don't have the damage to fight them. It's very difficult, and this is going to be a full team wipe because Treant Protector bought back. And now Tiny is inside their base.
All the ice shards, a thing of beauty. PP, he wants more. He's going to go for Serum. And yep, there's even more damage there thanks to the tag team. What a game. What a game from Infinity. This is why you were at this, GG. This is why you were so surprised. I think everyone was so surprised to see that game one from Infinity, because this is how they've been playing.
Yeah, I've been very impressed for a team that came throughout the lower division, how well they did against Infamous, who did really well in the previous DPC tour. And yeah, our first game was like, okay, get this off of me, shake it off, because this was not a good Dota. There was terrible draft. And the second game and third game, they show us, you know, really good Dota coming out from Mariano. Both of these games, the Rises was like, I would call him a bit slow. He's their carry after all, so he's just out there farming, you know, participating in some kills that get to him. But it was pretty much the PP and Mariano show, both of the games that they won. We gotta give credit to the support too. Pamplona has been moving around the map, setting up kills for PP in both of these games that they won. So looking really good. Been impressed how Axe worked out for them. I didn't think the hero is that strong, but I might change my mind.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible. Really, really strong game here for Infinity. And credit to Apu Kings, you know, they cleaned up game one when Infinity gave them a better opportunity. Dunya with some more difficult games, right? He's newer to the position, as our panel was talking about earlier. But, you know, Serum, again, on the Treant Protector, had some strong lanes. Apu Kings always going for that tri-lane to start up top lane, which never worked for them, unfortunately. But I'd love to hear what our panel has to say about this game, as I do believe we're ready to go over to them for eventually an interview, as well as to hear their thoughts on the series as a whole. So over to you, Mr. Apple Plus.
Goddamn.
What's up, Vlad?
I noticed in
How are you
time.
doing, man?
I noticed in time. I was going to be muted this time. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say, that, yeah, I'm setting up the interview. We don't know yet. So, Richie, don't call it before it happens, because you never know with these teams. The managers sometimes are there. Sometimes Swallow is not there. Mostly it's Swallow's fault. We just witnessed a fantastic game by Infinity. It's the Infinity that you guys were talking about the whole time. I think DX really showed up in that game. Mariano had some incredible calls. I want to leave a point to you, Lelis, by the way, that Mariano, when he started playing the off lane and he was struggling a little bit in lanes, everyone would call out that Mariano, yeah, his laning is not the greatest, especially compared to most other offlaners, but does he deliver in the mid game? And that's his strength, the ability to always get the right call, the right ravage, whatever it is. Do you think we got to see a little bit of that, the full Mariano in this game?
Yeah, I mean, he proved me wrong. He popped off. He did really well. Like, he just owned the game. I actually thought the idea of not laning against the tree hero was smart.
Okay.
And it opened up the Tusk to be able to gank the Storm. So Storm didn't get to just farm, right? So this guy's just ganky mid. So Monkey is getting this pressure hero helping him. So Storm has a pretty slow game, and Axe is just free farming, right? So I thought it was really smart by them. I ended up saying that it was not very good, but he just proved me wrong. So kudos to Mariano. I think he played it super well. He got like the 3-man call in that fight. It was pretty impressive. The double dunk.
Yeah.
Really good. I thought Infinity played really well. I thought also that I don't know. I think Apu Kings, they should have addressed this Monkey King hero. I think they have a Monkey King player, and this year was a problem for them in the second game. It was very apparent, but they just ignored it completely. I think that was a mistake, and yeah.
What are the things that you see here that you would like to see improve for Apu, Bowie?
I feel like their insistence in tri-laning this Treant plus Hoodwink top was very confusing to me. Like, I didn't see that much impact. I think they were able to, like, I guess in both times, because of the way they're drafting, it feels like their carry plus 5 combination isn't strong. So they're always sending the heroes top, and they don't get that much value out of it. I feel like Mariano is less picking his hero, and it's always a weird hero, and it works really well because he gets a free lane out of the trial that they force. So maybe work on that a little bit. I'm not sure if it has to do with Dunhao not feeling as confident in the off lane. I have no idea what's the issue there. but I didn't felt the strength of that Hoodwink Treant Trilane.
Thank you for blessing the player with a new name there, but we appreciate that. It was. Apple has not really felt like themselves, to be honest. The whole season this time, especially comparing them from even the regional finals. Right, we've seen them just kind of like a very different team than we saw in Div 1. I know it's easy to just blame Dunya here because obviously he's the most recent change, but is there something more to it that you guys can allude to, Lelis? Like if you compare this to Season 1 Apple King of Kings, which I'm assuming you watched as well, what are the differences you're seeing? Is there more doubt in their movements, or is the laning stage not going well? What happened to them?
I mean, I think their mid lane is very important. I don't think they can just lose mid like this. I think in both the games they just lost here, their mid just is way too behind, and the 5 just didn't really have a place to play. In both games, it felt like the same thing happened, and their offlane is just like not winning the lane, right? Like, they're not crushing the lane, they're doing okay. So I think when you're in this situation where your mid is just behind and your 5 doesn't really have a place to go, the game just feels way too awkward, and there's like no flow, right? Because they're a team that they want to attack. They want to play Invoker, they want to buy an urn and just go kill people with the 5 and the 4. But that's not happening because the 5 just doesn't really have a place, and this mid hero is just getting ganked or he has a bad matchup. So
right.
I think in this last game, for example, they should have prioritized this Monkey King hero where they just should pick a good counter matchup for a mid. Like the Storm was okay, but it's not like some 1,000-0 matchup, right? They just banned 3 more heroes that are good against Monkey King. They banned Batrider, they banned Viper, Quap, Invoker. Like they banned the best heroes. And they just kind of ignored it. They're like, okay, it doesn't matter, but it does matter.
Yeah, I mean, he was the crux of the team for a while as well. Do you think this goes back to what you were saying, Bowie, that maybe the reduced offlane pool is forced them to prioritize that lane earlier than they can prioritize mid, and all of a sudden they can't give mini as much?
I think so. I mean, if we were talking about prioritizing, they could have picked the Monkey King, or at least like be able to pick the Batrider in the second phase. Instead, they went for the Sand King, and that completely trashed the way Mini would like to, or at least like trashed the way Mini would be able to play a better game. So I think it is definitely something that they're gonna have to get used to, because it's rough. There's only so many levers you can pull to help each lane.
Okay, and on the side of Infinity, let's end this on a positive note, as this interview still getting ready. Infinity's side, you were praising them a lot, Bo, at the beginning of the game. So can you exemplify how that praise showed up in the last game? What were the things that you thought, this is Infinity I know and love?
I feel like their reading to how the game's gonna flow was very impeccable, honestly. When they pick the X, like it's very easy to just like have that gut reaction of what's happening, but realizing that the Morph isn't like a strong laner, especially early on, and also realizing that Tusk is the hero that can actually counter, it's probably the only hero they could have gone that counters Monkey King and gets trashed by Tusk at the same time was really good. I think they're not only thinking about the heroes and the lanes, but how the game, like who needs which resource at X time, and they dance around it really well. So maybe it's Mariano. I feel like, they're always kind of less picking his hero, and he feels impactful. So I think their game understanding is much, much better than some Division 1 teams.
Okay. What about PP, Lelis? You've been pretty hard on praising PP as well. I think he played a fantastic 3 games. Do you think he's even the Pango game honestly looked good despite his draft being awful? What do you think that PP is one of those new rising stars of the mid lane in South America? Is he looking that way to you?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's a really strong player. He knows how to snowball his heroes. He's a very good laner too, and he plays a lot of heroes. So he's always like high rank. He knows he's one of those cores that he knows how to carry the game. So that's very valuable to have on a team.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry, I just got the news here that Infinity is not going to be showing up for the interview. We have been told that they're not answering. We get tweeted afterwards. This is what I got. So I apologize for that. Unlike ESL's NA broadcast, we do like to have interviews, but not always do the managers answer us. So we're gonna take a break now, guys, and we'll be back in like 3-4 minutes. I'm presuming because the next match should be starting anytime soon. Next match is going to be East Coast versus Lava. If you guys are interested in that, that used to be the El Clásico of South America, as Lava used to be Thunder Awaken. Despite their defeat in TI, they decided to stick together, and they've actually been getting better results now than ever. And it's time for them to show up against East Coast, the undefeated kings of South America. We'll see who can make it out alive, as we'll come back shortly with the next game of SA. Take care, guys, and we'll see you guys soon.